And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Our first order of business is approval of the minutes of the Joint Finance, Human Resource and Community Service Committee meeting of October 18, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts.
Yes.
Mr. Seifel.
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes,
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
our next one is the regular board meeting of 10/20/2022. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts.
Yes.
Mr. Seifel.
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes,
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
I would at this time move to suspend the rules so that we can consider finance committee report, even though finance committee didn't have a quorum on Tuesday.
Second.
Ms. Butts.
Yes.
Mr. Seifel.
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
yes.
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
This time we're going to go ahead and move into the Finance Committee report. Trustee Seifel, please. Yeah.
Exhibit 1, resolution to accept gifts for the month of October. Be it resolved that the gifts described in the gift report for October of 2022 be accepted upon the conditions connected with said gifts in accordance with section 3375.40K of the Ohio Revised Code. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts.
Yes.
Mr. Seifel.
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 2, 10th Amendment to the year 2022 appropriation. Be it resolved that the sums indicated in the attached 10th Amendment to the year 2022 appropriation schedule be approved. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts.
Yes.
Mr. Seifel.
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes,
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 3, resolution requesting tax advance. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees request that the Cuyahoga County Fiscal Officer advance any tax funds that may be made available to the library prior to the regular settlement dates during fiscal 2023. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts.
Yes.
Mr. Seifel.
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
yes,
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 4, resolution to authorize agreement with GFOA for ERP planning and advisory services. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, and his designee to execute all documents necessary to enter into an agreement with GFOA for ERP planning and advisory services to assess the current situation, make recommendations on moving forward, and help the library develop a plan for overall readiness related to the future ERP system, subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs at a cost not to exceed $85,000, with the expenditure being charged to the general fund account 111-00053-53710, professional services. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts.
Yes.
Mr. Seifel.
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
yes,
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 5, resolution authorizing agreement with Bioloski Partners Architects LLC for architectural design services for Glenville Branch Project. Be it resolved that the board authorizes the executive director, CEO, and his designee to execute an agreement with Bioloski Partners Architects LLC in an amount not to exceed $582,865 for the Glenville branch upon such terms and conditions as are approved by the library's Director of Legal Affairs, and such other documents as are necessary or appropriate to effectuate the agreement in accordance with this resolution, with the expenditure of $582,865 being charged to the construction tax exempt fund account 40174805805-55300- 11748, construction improvements. So moved.
Second,
Ms. Butts,
yes,
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
yes,
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 6, resolution to ratify agreement for alarm monitoring services. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees hereby ratifies the addendum agreement entered into by the library on October 28, 2022 with Guardian Alarm for the augmented connector unit and its installation for an amount of $572, thus increasing the total cost of the 3-year contract to an amount not to exceed $39,061.40, exclusive of the cost of the communicators and monthly fees for the Brooklyn, Eastman, Lorraine, and Rockport branches. So moved.
Second,
Ms. Butts,
yes,
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
yes,
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 7, resolution authorizing agreement for uniform rental services. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, or his designate to enter into an agreement for up to 3 years with model uniforms, subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs for uniform rental services at an annual contract amount not to exceed $43,963.40 for a total 3-year cost not to exceed $131,890.20, with the expenditure being charged to the general fund account 121000353/129300353-53340 building maintenance. So moved.
Second,
Ms. Butts,
yes,
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
yes,
Mr. Hairston,
Yes.
and Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 8, resolution authorizing purchase and installation of access control and security hardware and software for Phase 1B projects of the facilities master plan. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Cleveland Public Library hereby authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, or his designee to enter into an agreement with Integrated Precision Systems, Inc. to provide and install the access control and security hardware and software for Phase 1B projects of the facilities master plan for a total contract price of $338,077.29, subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs, with the expenditure being charged to the Building and Repair Fund 401. So moved.
Second,
Ms. Butts,
yes,
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 9, resolution to amend agreement with Voya Employee Benefits Company for basic life and AD&D insurance policies. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, or his designee to amend the life insurance agreement, including AD&D with Voya Employee Benefits, Division of Reliance Star Life Insurance Company, subject to the Director of Legal Affairs approval to be effective on January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, with an estimated annual premium based on the current number of employees of $19,872 for basic employee life and AD&D insurance to be charged to the life insurance object 51620. So moved.
Second,
Ms. Butts,
yes,
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
yes,
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
excuse me, I know this question was asked and I'm supposed to remember the answer. How many of our employees take advantage of, is some life insurance given every employee?
Yes.
That-
All full-time employees with one after they've completed a year of service.
Yeah, that's what you said, 1 year, after 1 year of service, but then they can decide if they want extra AD&D.
Yeah, they do that on their own, extra life insurance, and they pay for that on their own if they want to bump it up.
So how much does that cost us per employee?
That doesn't, for them to increase their own doesn't cost. us.
No, I'm talking about just how much does it cost us for just the basic per employee? I'm supposed to know that
19,000.
from reading this.
It'll be an additional 19,000.
Right.
It'll be additional 20,000.
So what's the overall amount? Carrie, we can bring that back to you.
Yeah,
But it's.
I can look it up.
The total together, no more than 50,000 total.
oh, no more.
No more than $50,000 total.
Total.
For all.
For all of
450
them.
employees.
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
so it's very little amount for the number of
Mhm.
employees that we're covering.
Yes, thank you. Mhm.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Right, thank you.
I think staff is very happy about it.
Exhibit 10, resolution authorizing contract with Medical Mutual of Ohio for employee health care benefits. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees hereby authorizes the executive director, CEO, as designated to enter into an agreement with Medical Mutual of Ohio for employee health insurance benefits for a 12-month term from January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, at the rates reflected in the attached proposal, which agreement shall be subject to the review and approval of the Director of Legal Affairs. So moved.
Second,
Ms. Bunce,
Yes.
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
And I think it's worth noting that, as we pointed out in Finance Committee presentation, that 2% increase is much less significant. There are a lot of double-digit increases going on since COVID. And this agreement with Medical Mutual is really pretty effective for everybody. So congratulations to the staff for negotiating.
And our benefit consultant.
Taylor Oswald has
Yeah.
proven to be very, very effective in helping us.
So our life insurance right now costs the library $14,500 a year. So an additional 20,000 on that would be about $35,000.
Wonderful.
Exhibit 11, resolution authorizing contract with Delta Dental of Ohio for employee dental benefits. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees hereby authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, as designated to enter into an agreement with Delta Dental of Ohio for employee dental insurance benefits for a 36-month term from January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025, at the same rates as the current agreement with Delta Dental of Ohio, which agreement shall be subject to the review and approval of the Director of Legal Affairs. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Bunce,
Yes.
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 12, resolution authorizing contract with waste management services. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, or is designated to enter into a 3-year agreement with Republic Services, Inc., subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs, to provide waste management and recycling services at a cost not to exceed $38,868.80 for the 3-year term beginning January 1st, 2023 and ending on December 31st, 2025, with the expenditure being charged to the general fund account 121-00053-53340, building maintenance. So moved.
Second,
Ms. Bunce,
Yes.
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 12, resolution authorizing contract for waste management services.
Did you just do that one or am I lost?
That's the same one.
But we did that one.
Well,
Exhibit 13. No.
We should be at 15.
West Park. Mhm.
Exhibit 13, resolution amending project budget for the West Park branch. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees approves the amended total project budget for the West Park branch as set forth in Exhibit A of this resolution and authorizes such increases to be charged to the construction tax exempt fund 402 and on the construction taxable fund account 403. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts, Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 14, resolution authorizing agreement and establishing budget for the Lewis Stokes Wing ceiling modification project. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees hereby authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, as designate to enter into an agreement with the Gali Brothers LLC, subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs, for the ceiling modification on floors 7 and 9 of the Lewis Stokes Wing for a total cost of $550,000, with the expenditure being charged to the Building and Repair Fund 401. Be it further resolved that the Board of Library Trustees approves the total project budget as set forth in Exhibit A of this resolution, which expenditures shall be charged to the Building and Repair Fund 401, and authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, as designated to move forward in taking such steps necessary to complete the project and to execute such instruments and documents as may be necessary or appropriate to effectuate the terms of this resolution, including those in excess of $25,000, which are payable from the project budget established herein. And be it further resolved that the Board of Library Trustees authorizes the Chief Operating Officer to reallocate the budgeted amount set forth in Exhibit A for the owner's contingency fund and owner direct costs as needed, provided that such reallocations do not increase the overall project budget. The library shall report monthly to the board on expenditures of the owner's contingency fund. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butts.
Yes.
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Hairston.
Yes.
And Mr. Parker.
Yes.
The remainder of my report is the fiscal officer's report, report A, the report on investments, report B, the report on conference and travel expenditures, report C, the report on all vendor expenditures, report D, the report on expenditures made from the owner's contingency fund for Huff, Jefferson, West Park, Woodland, Central Distribution Facility, Lorraine, Eastman, MLK Junior, Brooklyn, and Rockport. Report E, the report on expenditures made from the owner's contingency fund for the high density shelving project. Report F. That concludes the finance report.
Thank you, trustee Seifullah. At the current time, we're having some difficulty with Zoom and it may be with Facebook Live as well. So at this time, I'm gonna, they're
Are
working.
we up?
It's fixed.
Oh, it's fixed. Well, thank you. If anyone needs to know what was done prior, we always have minutes on record as well. So at this time, I move to adjourn into executive session for the purpose of discussing the compensation of public employees and conferring with counsel to discuss pending or imminent court action.
So moved.
Ms. Butts,
Yes.
Mr. Seifullah,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan, Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Hairston, and Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Hey, Aaron,